Welcome to the magnificent ancestral home of the Earls of Shrewsbury. Of all the Earls, it is the wealthy and powerful 15th Earl, Charles Talbot, who has perhaps the strangest tale to tell. Indeed, it was our investigations of his story that led us to a remarkable chain of discoveries, changing a routine restoration project into something much more strange and compelling. The unearthing and unraveling of a quite remarkable local legend. Please, would you now move through to witness the story of Hex, the legend of the towers.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Planet Coaster and welcome back to Hexed one-to-one recreation within Planet Coaster. Today we have got two parts of the video. We're starting with this, what you're seeing on your screens now, which is basically the outside part, the Cloud Cuckoo Land part of the actual towers. So we're going to be doing that in the first part of the video. Yeah, we got some work to do, got some walls, got some roofs to put in, basically just filling out the blank spaces. That's all we need to do, really. So yeah, let's get into the time lapse now. I don't know how long this little preview section is going to take. I record the commentary after I've already put all the time lapses together. So yeah, let's start the time lapse now. Of course, we are using our base wall template that I've just copied over from other parts of the tower ruins because it's just easier to do. I'm not going to. Sorry, I just knocked my mic there. I'm not going to, you know, make an entirely new wall. For something that's A, backstage, so you're not really going to see it that much, and B, you know, it's not really a massive detail you need to focus on. So just putting this into place. I don't actually know what this part of the towers is actually used for, to be honest. I assume it's some sort of maintenance room or something, but it's basically just this big massive room behind this wall, and it's definitely a room because it's got windows and everything, it's got a roof, so there's something in there. If anyone knows what is actually in this little, well, it's not really little, is it, but this part of the towers, please say so in the comments, because I'm actually kind of curious. Is it just empty? Do they not use it at all? Is it like locked or something? Or did it used to be used as something? I know they used to use the chapel for the model railway, and the armoury used to be a gift shop, but like, what was this part of the towers ever used for? Because I don't remember anything about this part of the towers being used for anything, really. It might just be some staff building or something, maybe, for Cloud Cuckoo Land. I keep saying Cloud Cuckoo Land, it's not Cloud Cuckoo Land anymore, is it? It's Walliams World. Well, the yet to open Walliams World, because of course, COVID-19 is still going on, so parks are still closed. But yeah, just copy and pasting the turret wall, whatever it's called. I still didn't Google the actual name for these little wall bits that go on the top, whatever their name is. Just copy and paste that because it's easier to do. Now this little circular turret thing, I know this is definitely a turret. It was kind of difficult to figure out how to do it because all the column pieces, which is the main piece I would want to use for it, because it's circular, and all the pieces that are the right size don't have the same texture as the brick wall, and that's like the texture I want. A brick, you know, faded brick, corroded brick, that sort of texture, but I had to settle for this smooth texture. In the end, I just thought, you know, it is behind the building, you know, you're not really going to go there. The main focus of this recreation is going to be the interior of Hex and the front part of the towers. Of course, I'm not just doing Hex, I am doing the towers. However, I think I am going to release Hex before I do get onto the towers, because if I don't release Hex, it's just going to take ages for me to do the entire towers. And I know a lot of you would just want to play Hex, really, you don't really care about towers, but I care about towers and I want to do them, so yeah, so I think I will just release Hex before the towers. So yeah, just building the little roof topper that goes on this turret. Kind of had some difficulty with this, wasn't really sure how to do it or what sort of pattern it has. It took me a couple of attempts, but got there in the end, really, got there in the end. Well, I was going to say something, forgot what I was going to say. I don't know, I can't remember. But yeah, just doing this roofing using the wooden column pieces. The wooden column pieces are absolutely fantastic because they have like the texturing of a brick wall, even though they're not brick, of course they're wood, but they have that kind of like corroded texture to them, so it's really nice to use them. I would use my TMTK beam pieces instead, because they're really thin, but they don't have the same texture, so use the wooden column piece, it's just easier. Using this fence piece, and now this is my favourite piece to use for roofs. I used it in Smiler as well. Now this is actually a fence, it's not really supposed to be used for roofs, but because it has that corrugated steel roof sort of look to it, I just love using it because it looks so good. Yes, it does have some weird reflective surfaces that I can't really do anything about, but in terms of just the actual piece itself, it just works so well for roofs like this. So yeah, why not just use it? Again, it's centered just there, and that's basically that little bit of the tower's done. And now we're moving on to the part next to the armory. Well, if I want to move on it, come on Adam, hurry up. Sorry, sometimes I take too long to build these roofs. So now we're moving on to the side part of the armory. Now this is where the exit for Hex runs along during Scarefest, because the towers are used for Scarefest. Of course, Hex would normally exit through the glass corridor, the conservatories. That's where you normally go out, but during Scarefest, that's actually used for the queue line and entrances of the Scare Mazes. So I believe they actually use this little path that goes along this wall I'm building here as an exit, and you exit into Cloud Cuckoo Land instead. It's a bit of a change up, but you more or less come out where you entered really. It's, you know, not that much of a difference. I've never actually been to Alton Towers during Scarefest, so I've never had the opportunity to experience this exit. I don't know, I'm trying to figure out where the exit goes out, because I look on Google Maps and like it's all backstage areas and everything. Like, if anyone's ever been through this exit during Scarefest, where do you actually go out of the towers? Like, I don't know. A little room here once again. I don't know what this room's used for either. There's so many little rooms and parts of towers that's there, but aren't really used for anything. I know the vast majority of the towers is just like open space for you to go and explore before Scarefest comes around. But there's little rooms like that, so we're just sitting empty, not doing anything, and there's also other parts of the towers which don't have any floor or roof at all, and they've just been left abandoned. They got trees growing in it. Specifically the gallery has that to it. There's like a bit of a gallery they rebuilt for Hex to house the pre-shows and the Octagon pre-show, and then after the Octagon, after the Octagon is where like you got all trees growing out of that massive corridor. If you look on Google Earth, you'll be able to see it. But yeah, using these little path covers now, I think, please forgive me if I'm wrong here, but I think it was Max Magnus that they did these path covers. Fantastic path covers, really do come in handy, to be honest. Yeah, that is this little place more or less done. I'm just doing some clean up here, putting the roofing on and all that stuff, and putting on the final details. Of course, copy and pasting this little roof piece again. I'm going to be using this roof piece so many times in its recreation. Now you actually see I do change the rotation a bit, and that's because it turns out I actually built the walls a bit wonky. They're not perfectly 90 degrees to the rest of the ruins, which actually got me a bit bummed out, and I was like, oh god, how am I going to fix that? And I can't really fix it because I've built so much of it. It will be really difficult just to change the rotation of that. I'd almost have to rebuild most of it, and it's just like, it's not really that wonky. If you can only really see that it's wonky if you look at it really carefully, but if you're just looking at it normally, then it looks absolutely fine, to be honest. You'll see there the roof tiles just going across this L sort of shaped. I never even knew this was there, to be honest, that the armory has this L shape to it before you go into the first pre-show. What's that room? There was once again another room. It's just like, what did they use it for? There are so many bits of Hex that is just like empty and everything. That, well, not bits of Hex, sorry, bits of the towers that I'm finding through this Hex recreation. It's like, what is this used for? So yeah, here's the completed version of it. Of course, got those turrets on the back that I did off camera as well. Yeah, now that that bit is completed, we can move on to the next bit, which is of course going to be the gallery. So let's just get a different shot of this piece. There you go, lovely, look at that, absolutely fantastic. So this sort of area of the recreation is now more or less done. All that needs to be done now is the paths, and then it's basically complete really, and that's actually where the driving school is. But yeah, I like how it came out in the end. There's a wall there that to the back there, you might have seen it looked a bit out of place, a bit wonky. I will be changing that. But now we are starting the first pre-show. Of course, Hex has 3 pre-shows: the gallery pre-show, the cinema, and the octagon. Of course, here we are building the gallery. I built these doors that I've done aren't actually Planet Coaster pieces. I did those myself in Blender, uploaded them as TMTK pieces. Took me a while to get them to function, but in the end I got there. The specific reason why I made my own doors is A, all the animated doors in Planet Coaster are far too big. Even ones on the TMTK workshop are just far too big in order for me to use in these pre-shows. And reason number 2, none of them had the style I wanted and like the animation I wanted. Of course, the doors in Hex open slowly and gradually, whereas all the animated doors in Planet Coaster, they swing open very, very quickly, and like they will bounce around and everything. You understand what I mean? I'm doing this scaffolding thing right now, and I don't really like the scaffolding being on Hex, to be honest. I understand that the theme of Hex is they're restoring the towers and they discover the secret vault and all that, and then they discover the story of Hex and they open it up to the public to experience the story, and that, you know, that's the story of Hex, that is the theme. I just don't like the scaffolding being there. I think it makes it look really tacky, if you understand what I mean. I would much prefer the scaffolding not be there and just have it plain. I think that would look better. It would lose the theming of, you know, being a restoration site, but at the same time I just think it would look better. Like, instead of having the theme of it being a construction site, have it so that it's just a pure showcase of the local legend. They've all cleaned it up, they've built this ride to show you this local legend, and just have it like that. I would much rather prefer that. This pre-show room was very, very easy to do, and I do think the next pre-show room, the cinema, is going to be easy to do as well. That's because they're straight corridors, very, very simple to do, very simple lighting, very simple audio. The only pre-show that I'm not looking forward to doing is going to be the octagon pre-show. Why am I stopped here? The time lapse stops me. So I'm not looking forward to doing the octagon pre-show because it's got so many special effects, so many like TV screens and all that. Yeah, I'm just in general not looking forward to it. One thing, I have an idea for the octagon room that I think they should have done during the 2017 refurbishment. No, the 2016 refurbishment, sorry. So of course, the Hex was actually closed throughout the entire season of 2016 to refurbish it. One thing I think they should have done is replace the witch in the octagon pre-show with an animatronic, instead of just having a flashing light and some wind effects in there. Have it like an actual animatronic, like the one in the Kong queue line at Universal. The witch in that queue line cycle got her enchantments and everything, she's chanting her spells and all that. I think that would be amazing in Hex, that would be fantastic. And you can't really say, oh, but, you know, they don't have the technology, they don't have the money to that. Merlin Entertainments is the second biggest theme park company in the world behind Disney, so I don't see why they don't have the money to do that. It would have been amazing, but of course they didn't. Now, Planet Coaster doesn't really have any sort of like painting pieces in the game, like actual painting pieces with decorated frames, so I've actually had to use these signs from the spooky pack in there and just put curtains over them to actually match the effects. There I'm blocking out the window because it turns out I put the window in the wrong position, and there he is, the 15th Earl of Shrewsbury, Charles Talbot himself, of course, the absolute lad. Some say he still haunts the octagon room, so whenever you ride Hex and when you get into the octagon, make sure you listen out for Charles Talbot. That myth came from the Most Haunted episode, which I think I talked about in a previous video on Hex, where they explore the towers and apparently the towers are haunted and all that. and apparently Charles Talbot, the 15th Earl, haunts the Octagon Room. I've never had any ghostly experiences in Hex, but hey, if you want to believe it, then fine by me. But yeah, I really don't know. What am I doing now? I'm doing the windows, the lovely windows, just using the basic plain Planet Coaster windows. And the reason for that is because all this is basically going to be in the dark, as you would have seen at the start of the video in the cinematic. So it doesn't really matter, the tiny little details like the windows don't really matter that much, and it's an important thing to keep the piece count down as well. And the reason they don't matter is because, like I said, they're in the dark and they're not really going to have light on them at all. So yeah, at the end of the day, there's no point in putting a lot of detail into them. Here I am now extending the queue into the turnstile area where you actually get batched into the Rider's course. That is how they set the groups out in Hex. You go through a turnstile, and the turnstile counts how many people there are. I think, I'm not entirely sure how many people you can have in one group at a time. It's quite a lot, though. The throughput for Hex is absolutely massive, because the Vekoma Madhouse at the end, of course, which is the actual ride itself, does hold a lot of people in it. That's the wrong place to put the terror though. I was putting the turnstile on the wrong side of the fence there, but there are a lot of people who like shout and scream and do all these really annoying things that I don't like at all in Hex, and it ruins it. And sometimes the volume of the audio is just too low, and it's just annoying really, especially in the Madhouse itself, because there's so many people like shouting. Like, you can scream, of course, because you know, Hex is supposed to make you feel like you're going upside down, when of course you're not, but it's supposed to make you feel like that, and some people do get that sensation, so you can scream. Sure, it's a theme park ride, but they're just annoying people to just shout and everything, because they're in a big room, they feel the need to shout and everything, and it's really annoying, and I wish they would turn the volume up in Hex. And now we are doing the roof, or starting the roof, at least, and I'm actually going to shut up now. I'm going to let you in. Also, I just dropped something. I'm actually going to shut up now and let you enjoy the rest of the time lapse. Thank you for watching this episode of Hex. Join me next episode where I'll be moving on to the second and third pre-shows. I'm not sure if I will get onto the third pre-show, of course, is the Octagon, depending on how long it takes to build the cinema pre-show, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see what I can do when we get to that part. Thank you very much for watching. Please do consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and yeah, I'll see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.